Can you believe that somebody tried to get Chuck Schumer on like sexual assault allegations recently? Yeah, believe it or not, it's by two people that we've talked about on the show numerous times in the past. Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich. Both these two guys who were involved in pushing the Pizzagate conspiracy. You know, that story that linked Democrats to a completely made-up pedophile ring that was happening in the basement of the pizza parlor.
A pizza parlor that didn't have a basement.
Yeah, it's like they told everybody to go find Pee-wee's bicycle in the basement of the Alamo, and there's no basement in the Alamo. Anyway, so Chuck Schumer's office told Newsweek this week that God damn it, let me see what he says here. On Tuesday, there was a Facebook post saying Michael Cernovich and I are going to end the career of a U.S. senator, like just posting it on their usual viral shitlords like network that they're all connected to. It's called Facebook and Twitter, if you guys didn't know that. But anyway, they wrote on Twitter, if you thought the media was outraged over the flawless Conyers takedown, wait until it's a sitting U.S. senator. And he was referring to John Conyers, who stepped down amid sexual misconduct allegations.
Wait, but Conyers was sitting when that came out.
But I don't think he was a senator, though. I think he was just a House of Representatives member.
Oh, you're right. He was representatives.
Mm-hmm. And so by Wednesday morning, it became apparent that there would be no takedown of a U.S. senator. Cernovich deleted his tweet, and Johnson wrote on his website that he was offering up a reward in exchange for answers about what went haywire with the promised scoop. Like they had a scoop coming their way, apparently. So Chuck Schumer's office told Newsweek that he was to have been the victim of a fake news story, one purporting to tie him to sexual harassment allegations that never happened. Not only
how do we know they didn't happen?
Well, it says here that not only did Johnson and Cernovich have no story to deliver, but the Capitol Police were called in to investigate who exactly was trying to set up Schumer. So,
but if I remember, there was a specific part where they name an actual woman.
Let's see. It says here that the document is forged and every allegation is false. Matt House, who's Schumer's communication director, said to Newsweek, "We have turned it over to the Capitol Police and have asked them to investigate and pursue criminal charges, but it is clear the law has been broken. We believe the individual responsible for forging the document should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law to prevent other malicious actors from doing the same." So a lot of people have been talking about with Franken and a bunch of other people that have stepped down, which, interestingly enough, not to go on a side trail here, we've lost more like people in the House and the Senate recently with the sexual misconduct allegations than we lost during the Civil War. Like it was more tumultuous during the Civil War, or almost about even. And if the news item that I read earlier this week from one of my friends on the inside of the news, he said that the list of people that paid off all of the stuff in Congress because they used taxpayer money that list is going to go public here pretty soon.
Good. Yeah. Root them out.
It's not a small list either.
No, it's a lot of people.
Oh, I bet it's not. Root them out. Root them all out. Every single last one of them. Get them out. And I'm talking
and right.
Left and right. You Republicans. I'm looking at you because you motherfuckers are not holding anyone accountable.
No.
But there was a point I was going to get to, is that there was an actual woman named they're claiming that the report was from a woman, like the fake document is an actual person who did work for
Schumer.
Schumer, thank you. And she said, "No, none of it's true. I didn't file this. He never sexually harassed me."
And the real interesting thing, another interesting thing that's happening here is that Vic Berger, I sometimes play some of his clips in between because he takes he's my kind of comedy, because he takes stuff that's already bizarre enough and makes it a little bit even more bizarre. Like he'll take Jim Baker videos and extend silences, or make parts of audio sound a lot more loud than they normally are. Like when they're stirring the buckets of slop, they'll make more slopping sounds and everything, and they get Lori Baker just look at that. And it's just he makes the video. He's alternative comedy. He's an anti-comedy kind of person. But God damn it, he's interesting to watch. So anyway, he's been roped into the stuff too because Cernovich falsely insinuated that he was a pedophile in 2016, leading to Vic Berger saying he was getting like death threats and everything. And he publicly criticized Cernovich and Posobiec for promoting fake stories on social media, which he said, this is dangerous. They're not journalists. They're harassers out to cause harm to people they don't like. And interestingly enough, a lot of people, if you want to know the beginnings of Mike Cernovich, Gamergate. Yeah. No fucking lie, guys. Gamergate is what brought him out.
He was the based lawyer.
Yep.
That's what they called him.
They're not anything, but at least they're they're steadfast in what they name people. Everything's based at this.
Everything that they hate is everything that they fight for is so pointless and stupid. It is so. I can't handle like they're like there's a pedophile ring out of the basement of a pizza parlor, like just some family business that's been there forever, or like Gamergate. They're like worried about boobs being covered in their video games. Like I don't understand. I can't get there.
I was on the wrong side of Gamergate.
Okay, so maybe help me understand. What was the concern?
For me, it honestly was because I was a gaming journo for a long time. I did a lot of gaming stories, and a lot of the times you get a lot of your sources and stuff. They're inside sources. You make friends, you get leads from these people that you write their stories for them, and you get, rewarded sometimes with like review codes for things, or you get things in return. But the thing that was happening, if I remember, was like Zoe Quinn had made a game or was working with somebody in the gaming industry and got like advanced review copies, gave it like easy score. I don't even remember because it's honestly something I didn't keep in the forefront of my memory because it honestly doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it really wasn't that, it wasn't a big deal.
But it became this whole, I was incensed because it was people throwing review scores to like friends and other people in return for, favors. And it became this whole, well, that's some bullshit. This is a review ring. Like there's none of this is just a racket, I was mad about that. It wasn't until I started looking into the other shit that was going on with Gamergate, and I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. But I was honestly on the journalism side of it to begin with until it come to find out it had a very, very deep, dark, seedy underbelly. And it was bad, yo.
It was not really about journalism.
No, it was about harassing women.
Yeah.
It honestly was.
Yeah.
And for these guys to come out and try to use this information, this fake information, to get a senator fired, they're barking up the wrong tree. Like, you don't go after a senator, let alone the president or anybody else for that matter, unless you have all your ducks in a row. If you're coming at somebody with a fake document like this,
yeah,
this ain't Zoe Quinn.
No. Who's a wonderful person. I've chatted with them on Twitter every once in a while, and it's like, oh, it's nice. I'm sorry I was that guy back then.
She is a cool person. Like, not that I know her well or anything.
No. Like, but does cool music. Like, if you pay attention to ContraPoints' videos, she did the music to that one of the videos the other day. I was like, oh, that's impressive, because I don't have any musical talent at all. Anyway, so Newsweek had contacted the Capitol Police about Schumer's office reporting the incident, but they didn't immediately receive a response. Johnson told Newsweek he was offering $10,000 in reward for people for the information who sent him the bogus documents. Honest, guys, I'm trying to find out who this fake person is. Oh, yeah. So,
I'm sure.
Which is funny because just a month before, those two guys were offering an entirely different kind of reward, $20,000 for credible information detailing sexual harassment allegations.
Oh my God! Do they okay? That's the thing is, that's how this works. They think that these women are being paid to come forward, and they're not. No. They're not paid to come forward, guys. They're not being reached out to by news agencies. You guys clearly don't understand how journalism works. You need to slow the fuck down. Maybe take a couple classes.
Yeah, journalists don't pay people for stories and reports. It doesn't work that way.
No, it's entirely unethical.
It's ridiculous. Like when it was the whole thing that we had just a couple of weeks ago with Project Veritas. It's just more of that shit. It's like
so smells like Project Veritas. I'm like, that smells stinky.
Well, at least James O'Keefe got into the offices and got them talking about it. Like these people can't even. Like, they tripped on their own dick trying to deliver the false information to the senator. And he's like,
I don't even know what their whole. They seriously think that news agencies are just going to see something like this and be like, oh, everyone report on all the things, and not just be like, was he even in town on this date? He wasn't. Okay.
all I want, honestly, all I want out of this, because I have a seething hatred for Mike Cernovich, is I want him to have to do a public apology thing where he goes on stage and he lispily says, "I'm sorry." He has a. For those that don't know, Mike Cernovich has a pronounced lisp. So
he is a bad man. He's just a terrible gorilla mindset, date raping.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't
apologizing.
I'm surprised he hasn't started calling people soy boys like Paul Joseph Watson does. And let me pop my brain force, which contains soy. Fucking idiots.
Well, in this case, this came right after the Sam Cedar thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
If you know about that. So he did actually get Sam fired from MSNBC, but they turned around on it and said, oh, okay. Sorry.
And what's made me super sad is that Sam Cedar is friends with David Pakman. For anybody that doesn't know, David Pakman does a daily news show. It's podcast and on YouTube. I honestly like watching his show because he presents a lot of the stuff just as facts, and then he'll make commentary on it. But even he's catching like death threats and shit from the Cernovich crowd. How do these guys get to command these just armies of just shitty people?
Don't know.
If we tried doing some stuff like that, it wouldn't work.
Other than these shitty people are extremely impressionable. Not well informed.
I wonder. As a female, this is something, because they're like super like rape fetishy, right? They they for them like that, like rape is sex or something like that.
Well, it's the only kind they know.
That's my thing. So they're horrible, but do you think that it just like pisses them off that there are women who are like maybe a woman on this podcast who is into submissive BDSM and is real big on the consent thing, and like there are men who get to participate in that with perhaps a woman on this podcast, and they all understand the rules of consent, and those guys get to play with it, and then maybe a woman on this podcast gets to play with it, and everyone gets to have a good time, and it can be weird and freaky and rough, and then everyone's happy. Do they know that like how much would that piss them off that like they don't get to participate in that like at all? Like, would that make them so mad that if a woman who was a feminist and super about empowerment and consent enjoyed that kind of thing, but never, ever, ever with them?
Well, I think you're hitting the main motivation for what they're doing.
I mean, do you guys know what incels are?
I've heard the term. It's been a while. Okay. Wait, we heard this from, God damn it, who brought it up? Tiffany brought it up when she was, was
it Tiffany? Okay.
Yeah, she brought up the incel thing, and I don't remember what it stands for. We were talking about return. We hunted the mammoth guys.
It's involuntary
celibacy. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So, if you ever want to
bang your head on
to
your desk
interact
repeatedly
with the worst people in the world, then you would go on one of these threads and just find the hate. Oh, incels. Elliot Rodger was an incel.
Oh, so it is the MGTOW folks. Okay.
Yeah.
I find this just delicious. I find it delicious because so many of these fuckers would be so pissed that like men who they would think were inferior to them, but who are just generally all right people who understand the rules of consent and I like hanging out with, totally have an option. It's like
that's the thing. Is that I realize now that I'm in my adulthood that I was trying entirely too hard to be the nice guy. I was trying entirely too hard to white knight. I was trying too hard to be the good guy and, never, uphold their honor and shit, put them on the pedestal. How come they won't date me? Because I treat them like they would be queen. And I look back at my own self. I want to
be treated like a queen. And I don't know many women who do.
Exactly.
Even non-feminists are like, dude, chill the fuck out. Just, can we hang out? Like, I don't need to be a queen 100% of the time. Sometimes I'm just like,
I'm just trying to put out a public service announcement to the guys that might be these folks out there. To anybody that might be, the milady kind of person as you doff your trilby kind of at them. You're trying too hard. Be a friend. If
be
nice. Be yourself.
Be yourself. Treat them like a human being.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And guess what? You will find a lot more options.
Yeah.
Now, it's not going to fly across the room at you most of the time, but
No. You have to, again, treat them
you have to work at it. But you have to work on yourself too, God damn it.
Well, that's the thing. Be an actual friend, not a friend with a purpose, not a friend with an agenda and an expectation of vagina.
The friend
coming your
zone.
Way.
I did 3 nice things. That's 1 pussy token.
Yeah.
That's just an actual friend. See what happens or doesn't happen. Just let it be.
Like, if you're on a dating site and all you're interested in is sex and not a relationship, that's fine.
Just please keep it that way.
Be aware that you're probably going to be limiting your options at that point. But that's okay. Say it up front. Because there are women who are into that.